Hey, what's up, everybody? In this video, we're going to talk about some Marvel comics that are not on the app at this time that would probably be some good additions. Now, the reason why I made this video was because of some of the chatter about how VeVe released all the quote-unquote grails. So I wanted to talk about some of the opportunities that are left, and by looking at about 11 different comics. So just to level set some premises that are made in making this video, I'll be talking about in VeVe the floor price of the commons, and the prices I'll be using are actual sales or fair market value from Go Collect. So that will establish the prices that you'll see in the following slides. So let's start with the Invincible Iron Man #1, which is the first issue of Iron Man. The CGC 94 is at $7,340. And these are some Bronze Age comics that would be some really good additions to VeVe that should sell above retail, but it's not going to sell much above retail. So these would hover right about retail, but again, they wouldn't be those $2 comics. So an equivalent for this would be like ASM 42, the first appearance of Mary Jane Watson. I think the Invincible Iron Man #1 is a little higher grade. The ASM 42 is going for around $5. So I would expect the Invincible Iron Man to stay around this $7 range. Another comic that would fit in that range would be Silver Surfer #1 from 1968, first appearance of Shala Bal and Zenla, and is the origin story. I own this book. Uh, CGC 94 is at around $10,000. This would be very similar to the analysis of Iron Man #1 because there's really no key FAs. It's just issue #1 of their standalone series comic. Now, this next range of comics is a little bit more tricky and will illustrated by Fantastic Four 52, which came out in March 1966, which is the first appearance of Silver Surfer and Galactus. The CGC rating is 9.4, is about 16,000. And something similar to this would be ASM #3, which is the first appearance of Doc Ock, which is has a floor price of around $10. Now, the rough one is like a comparative would be ASM 14, which is the first appearance of the Green Goblin, which is selling for below the list, and it's about the $6 range right now, and that's because of the high mint numbers. So I would anticipate this for selling around $10 and up, assuming that the mint size is around 10,000. These next series of books are very difficult to figure out where they're going to be at. Like, for example, The Incredible Hulk 181 is an important issue. Came out in November 1974, which is the first appearance of Wolverine. Uh, the CGC prices on these have come way down. The 9.4 is a little over $17,000. This is a tough one because I would expect this to be going at between $10 and $20 um, for a 10,000 mint. And very similar to this would be issues like Fantastic Four 52, which came out in July of 1966, which is the first appearance of the Black Panther. The CGC 9.4 on that is 18,000. And now we get to another class of books, which are older ones, for example, like Tales to Astonish 27, which came out in December of 1961, which is the first appearance of Ant-Man and Henry Pym. Uh, The last CGC rating on this is 9.0, but this is a sale in 2015 for 34,000. So this is actually much higher. I would anticipate this book, be in the six-figure range, and it's just because it's so old and so rare. And these books, you know, are going to be more significant to comic collectors uh, in the current market. Again, I would anticipate this floor around at the $10 to $15 mark because the Tales to Astonish 13, which is the first appearance of Groot, is around $7, $8, but that was a 20,000 mint, and I was looking at a 10,000 mint type of drop. I was really debating about including the Motion Picture Funnies Weekly #1, which is probably the oldest Marvel comic. It was like a promo from April 1939, which is the first appearance of Namor. The last sale was a CGC 9.0 at 43,000, but that was in 2005. There's so few of these books, and it's a more historic piece. Who knows what this book would go for in real life in 2022? Something like this is going to be would be really tough to price a floor because so few people know about it. So I would say between a $10 and $20 floor, potentially higher if it was a lower, especially if it was a lower mint number. You know, the book is significant historically, but again, not many people would know about it. So I'm just including it in here because this is another potential book that could be dropped on the app. Now we get to the Grails that would be equivalent to Journey into Mystery 83 that just dropped. That one is on the market right now. The floor is around $45. The first one of these would be Tales of Suspense 39, which came out in February of 1962, which is the first appearance of Iron Man. CGC sale in 2020 was for $99,000. Of course, there should be six figures by now. Another one in this range would be The Incredible Hulk #1. That came out in May 1962. First appearance of Hulk. Betty Ross, Rick Jones, Thunderbolt Ross. CGC 9.2 rating is $336,000. And again, this would be equivalent to Jim 83, potentially even higher. Uh, Another one which I think would go higher than Jim 83, which would be X-Men #1, which came out in August 1963. First appearance of the X-Men, CGC 94 is fair values at around $525,000. Uh, you know, Jim 83 is more significant, but I think this would have more popularity, and so I think would go a little higher than Jim 83. And the Grail of Grails that remains is Captain America #1, which came out in February 1941. The first appearance of Captain America, first appearance of Bucky Barnes. The CGC sale at 9.4 in 2022 this year was at $3.12 million. This I think could approach AF-15, but not quite hit it because of the significance of that book, and Spider-Man is a much more popular character than Cap is. In conclusion, there are a number of books that can be dropped that would be profitable, uh, who would not go below retail. But uh, in one sense, the people that are saying that the grails have been dropped already do have a point. And if I were VeVe, this is what I would do. Books like Captain America #1, uh, I definitely would only drop that, you know, like those type of books once a year, and there are not many of them left. So if you looked at the last three, Captain America uh, #1, X-Men #1, and um, The Incredible Hulk #1, Tales of Suspense 39, I would drop those once a year, uh, at most. Yeah, I was thinking twice a year, but yeah, I would even drop them twice a year. And the reason why is this, and I would wait for the masses to come in. So you may think, oh, that's really bearish because uh, what is VeVe going to drop that will get us all excited? Well, the problem is this comic world. So uh, it's a good thing and a bad thing. So the bad thing is, they're not books to the level of AF-15. They've already dropped Fantastic Four #1. They've already dropped Amazing Spider-Man #1, and you see in Daredevil #1 how low that's gotten. So a lot of the key first issues are gone. So there are not many left. But in the series of the key series of Amazing Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, uh, you could do Tales to Astonish, Tales of Suspense. There are a lot of books there with a lot of key first appearances of especially the villains um, that should hold close to or stay above retail. So there'd be a lot to get people excited. So if I were VeVe, those are the ones that I would be dropping, not these randoms, that are dropping that are going down to $1. You sprinkle those in to keep the current user base excited, but drop some of the really key issues that we've explained in this video, space them out a few times a year, maybe once a quarter in the various tiers of the comics that we've shown, and wait for the user base to come. And as the user base grows, I would increase the mint sizes. I know that sounds contradictory, but I mean, if you think about it, if we can get back to the 30,000, the 60,000 mint sizes once the masses come, that will be a lot more money for VeVe. And also, what it would bring, it give the quote unquote masses uh, something to shoot for. 10,000 mints, not going to cut it, not with the amount of comics that are left in the quote unquote real world that would have significance or value to collectors who want to join this NFT space. So that's some of the thoughts on some of the comics that are not on the app. Let me know what you think. Love interacting with you guys on YouTube and Twitter. Uh, Thanks for watching, and hello.